Welcome, welcome, business owning moms, to my coveted maternity leave planning roadmap. We're going to talk about being flexible today, flexible with changes. Because if you guys know anything about how I approach business and life, it's really about having the systems in place to be flexible. Over my 10 years in, the operations industry for small businesses, I have been told countless times from founders, leadership team, and, individual contributors that operations equals red tape, right? They're like, oh, well, I have a small business because I really want to be nimble and I really want to be able to pivot when necessary and do all those things. And they think that operations or, creating systems or documenting SOPs or, putting project management function in place, they're like, it'll make us less nimble. And I'm like, oh, no, no, my friend. Having some systems in place is critical to being able to be present, to be able to be flexible, to be able to be creative. And I think it's James Clear that says you don't fall to the level of your, oh gosh, I'm totally going to butcher this. I'm trying to be so fancy and quote something. James Clear basically says he says you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And I believe that, especially as a postpartum mom who is running a business, like we really just need to make sure that stuff doesn't fall through the cracks. Because if you have a big goal or if you have best intention to get up and do something, your baby may have another plan overnight. And I remember even when I was first postpartum with both of my sons, I would make a list mostly daily of like what would be amazing today. And so that is the big action step here is that as we move into early motherhood, creating a list of what would be amazing or what would feel amazing today and just being able to check in with yourself. And if any of that is not true, like on your current schedule, that's when you may just decide to give it a couple days, see if it continues to come up on your list, and then, of course, approach a quick change or a quick pivot. This could be anything from I've decided to work a little bit on my maternity leave, but it really is stressing me out. My baby's not sleeping through the night. So I am going to attempt to offload this thing that I've been doing. It could be that simple. It could be as simple as well, we're not preparing healthy enough meals. And so it's leaving me feeling like crap during the day. So I'm going to have somebody come in and support us in doing that. And that's a really nice, simple shift. It could be, I remember in my second leave, I was really, it was important to me to shower. And we would wake up in the morning and I would feed my son, and then Steve would go work out, and then he would sleep in the bassinet, and then I would go take my shower in the morning, and then I would come in and I would do my journaling and have my coffee and all that stuff before he woke up from his first, like, quote unquote, morning nap. And it was such a game changer because for whatever reason, when I had Frank, I guess I just didn't know what I didn't know, but I felt like we needed this rigidity in the schedule. And I remember talking with Steve, my husband, about it. And I was like, I don't think we need the same schedule, but I know we need a schedule. And so something that I want to help you kind of walk the line with here is being able to be flexible, but also making sure that there is a kind of documented schedule around the house about what's getting done, especially too in the business. If you're keeping any tasks, if you're in a position where maybe you might be outsourcing something to somebody and you want to check in with them, make sure that that stuff is documented. It was for us like a really quick thing that we just put up on the fridge every day. We were in a position where we had, a different person would be like working out first and then working out second. So we would kind of stagger that so that someone would get the like early morning rush of being up and being productive and all the things. So that was super helpful for us, particularly to have a schedule, but not necessarily be like totally pulled in and forced to be on the same schedule because it would often change. So daily, you want to sit down and write the things. It'd be nice to have blank today, right? So just finish the sentence. You can write as many things as you want. Then, if the same thing keeps coming up and you don't have it in your life, it might be something that in your weekly meeting with your spouse, which I highly recommend in the early postpartum days, is just to sit down with them, really review what's going on. It can take 10 minutes. And then you guys can say, hey, I'd really love it if you'd supported me with X. Like you can start to get that really solid feedback loop. Frankly, we did not do that in the first like 6-ish months of being postpartum with Frank, our first son. But then we've always done it ever since because I think it the needs of your partner change, just like your needs change in that time. And though they're not going through a lot of the same hormonal changes that you are being postpartum, they just want to support you most of the time. And I remember Steve feeling like he didn't know what to do because he was kind of following my lead. And then I didn't know what to do because I was a brand new mom and just kind of trying to figure it out. So I want to just encourage like daily and weekly kind of check ins. So daily can be with you, weekly can be with your spouse. And then, of course, as any larger shifts start happening with baby, like if baby starts sleeping through the night, then you can, of course, just take a look at the schedule, see what's going on, see how you guys can integrate some more consistency into the schedule. But I really do believe that even the most well-baked plans, especially postpartum, things do shift. And so I think building in the space, again, the system to allow some of those changes to come to fruition, to listen to our bodies, to listen to, our partner, listen to the other kiddos in our house. If this is, your second, third, 15th kid, you want to really make sure that you've got that system in place to be able to kind of revisit the priorities, revisit the schedule, revisit what's happening so that you can make those particular shifts. This is frankly one of the most important things that I did between my first and my second leave, personally speaking, that I think just changed the game for us because we just knew how it had gone. We had the beauty of hindsight. We had the beauty of understanding like how Steve and I worked together. And so even this is helpful if if you're expecting a kiddo and maybe you haven't yet had this conversation with your partner, start to think about like, hey, listen, I know that we don't know how well the baby's going to sleep. And I know we don't know what time he's going to wake up in the morning, but it's really important to me that I shower, or it's really important to me that I get out for a walk, or it's really important to me that I can like read a little bit in the morning. Have that conversation with them. And then that way they can help you keep that sacred. And same for your partner. They want to be a support to you. Have that conversation with them. Say, hey, listen, these are the things that I feel are important that, I would really appreciate some support with. I can be a better serve to you if I've worked out in the morning, or I can be better for you if I've eaten, right? Like even those little things, it's so silly, but pretty much all like self-care kind of goes out the window. At least it did for me. I like didn't know how to advocate for myself. So I was like, oh, I'm supposed to just fall on the sword for my baby. Like I just knew that was like whatever my instinct was when I was first postpartum with our first son. I just completely neglected pretty much everything about what I was doing or needing. And it left me pretty high and dry, like pretty early on. So my hope is with this episode and the last one to help you avoid that particular issue. So I hope that you are enjoying the series. We've got one more, which is so exciting. I've gotten so much incredible feedback about the roadmap. And if you are in the thick of, planning your maternity leave, if you're currently expecting, then you want to kind of get a great behind the scenes look at exactly what I did differently between baby one and baby two, running my business, head over to mastermaternityleave.com/workshop. It is the best, kind of walkthrough of exactly what I would do step by step to plan a self-employed maternity leave. Super, super tactical too. So bring a notepad and things. If you've enjoyed the podcast, you will absolutely enjoy one of my workshops. And thank you so much for being here, for listening, for sharing. If you know anybody who's going through this experience or trying to plan, for family, when they have a business as well in tow, I hope that you'll share this information with them so that they can get the support that they need, because ultimately that's what we really want to do here is we want to support moms and business owners so that we can all rise together and stay in business and not have to sacrifice that time with our family. So thank you for carving out some time from your day to be with me, and I'll see you on the next episode.